Hey everyone, welcome back to Anchored Life with Kayla. It is the end of 2021 and we are going to be starting a new year right away. This was my Christmas card this year. Okay, also this adorable picture of Sophie. She is the cutest. What can I say? When I was designing our Christmas card and I found this one that said, "What a year," I was like, that is just perfect because this is the year that we built this house that we've been dreaming about for a long time, and we finally completed it, and we've been living here now for about half a year, I guess. And yes, if you're wondering, I am going to be doing a final house tour eventually. It's just that it takes a while to get your house decorated the way you want it to, especially when you're busy working and you got a kid and like life is busy. So sometimes hanging pictures on the wall is not really a priority, but I will be making this video for you guys. When you have a new house, you want to have a housewarming party, you want to invite everybody over to come see your house, and we have been able to have some people over. However, with different COVID restrictions that are coming and going in our area, it hasn't quite been ever the right time just to have a big housewarming party and invite all our friends over. So that is kind of sad, but waiting for the day when we will be able to do that. The other thing that was very memorable this year for us was getting a puppy, which I wanted my entire life. I have to say, I think I would have appreciated the puppy more when I was a kid, mom and dad, because then I wouldn't have to take care of it and I could just enjoy it. So that has just been a lifelong dream for me. So there's been some really good things as well as some hard things this year. I know I'm not the only one in thinking that there are some things that I could have done this year that I wish I could have done, but that didn't end up getting done. And things like my housewarming party or just traveling. I just need to go traveling and But it can be so easy to be down on ourselves when we feel like we just haven't lived up to our own expectations for ourselves in the year. So as this year is coming to an end, let's acknowledge those thoughts that are dragging us down and not serving us and helping us get to where we need to be. We're going to acknowledge them, because otherwise, if you just push down those thoughts way down deep, they are just going to be festering and they're going to build up and explode at some point in the future. So instead, we are going to acknowledge the thoughts that we are thinking, and then we are going to just let them go. You literally picture them just like floating away, and if they decide to come back, you say, "No, I already dealt with you." You can just keep floating on by. Don't we all want to finish the year right and start by having a good mindset at the beginning of the year? This is how you're going to do it. I want to share a couple of examples that I've been replacing in my thoughts this year in hopes that maybe it kind of helps you out a bit. So when Sophie was born, I think like every new parent, I'd always be nervous that she has like died in her sleep or something outrageous has happened to her. So I'd be walking towards her room to check on her while she's sleeping, kind of like peer through the door. And I would just all of a sudden have this overwhelming feeling just like bubbling up, like, "Oh my goodness, what if she's dead? I don't know if she's breathing. Oh my goodness." And I was like freaking out before I even had any reason to freak out. So what I did is I started to replace those thoughts with something else. So what I did was, instead of going in there letting my thoughts just go crazy, instead I would just specifically choose to think, "Thank you, God, for my beautiful daughter," or something along that line. And I still actually tell myself these things because I'm learning as a mom, you never stop worrying about your child. But if you want to know how to stop worrying, you need to take that thought and replace it with something that is true, something that is more helpful for you to focus on. So when my counselor was telling me about this whole technique, I was really concerned that just like the idea of like letting a thought just go would mean that it's not dealt with and that it would come back later to haunt me, as it were. But she was explaining that that's not how it works, that when you actually like you've thought about the thought, how does it make me feel, and you're acknowledging that you're feeling a certain way, and then you decide to let it go, you have dealt with the thought, you are letting it go, and it's not going to be dragging you down anymore if you don't let it. This next example feels a little silly talking about because it seems a little ridiculous, but it has actually been helping me, so I'm just gonna put it myself out there and share with you guys in case it helps you too. When I am driving down the highway and there's a semi coming towards me in the opposite lane, I always have this thought in my head, like, what if the semi like veers into my lane, or what if I somehow veer into their lane and I get into this huge crash with the semi, and what would happen? And I think we all know what would happen, but my mind always gets away on me. It was only a couple months ago that I actually realized this is what I was thinking every time, and I'm like, you know what, this is crazy. I am not letting these thoughts get out of control anymore, because I live in the country and I work in the city, so I do a lot of highway driving, and I am not putting up with my mind going crazy on me every time I'm driving down the highway anymore. So instead, I was like, you know what? In my head, I'm just gonna say like something like, have a good day, or something like that, as if the semi driver can hear me, and it seems so ridiculous. But that is what I've started to do. I see a semi like driving, you know, coming towards my vehicle in the other lane, and I immediately start thinking bad things. I stop, I tell myself, nope, that's not what we're going with today. And then I, in my head, think, have a good day, as he goes on by and we're all still on the road and we're still good. And it has helped me to just change the way that I'm thinking and to take control over the thoughts that I'm thinking instead of letting them take over me. If you're feeling down on yourself about something this year, or something that you didn't get around to doing, or just beating yourself up, you just need to let that go and replace it with the truth about yourself, and remind yourself that we've got a whole new year coming up, and maybe 2022 will be the year we can travel again. I really hope that I'm not watching this video in a year and I think, man, I was so naive back then. Really hope not. Besides being able to travel, I really hope that this next year brings us a new child into our family. I recently made a video about how we are working on the adoption process. So if you're interested in that, check it out. I will put the link down below. So I'm really looking forward to all that this year is going to bring as far as that goes, because we really don't know what's going to happen. So it's an adventure. And make sure that you guys keep up with me in 2022, because I've got some things up here cooking. You can keep up with all the fun with my channel by subscribing if you haven't already, and hitting that notification bell so that you never miss out when I post a new video. I hope you guys have a great last few days of this year, and that we have an amazing start to the next one. See you guys soon.